Well, hi folks, mid-July now, so I'll just give you another plot roundup. Start off in the greenhouse because we've not been in here for about 2 or 3 weeks. I'll just show you what's going on in there, or in here as it is. Right, tomatoes still cracking on now. They're nearly ready to be topped off now because they're about 6 foot tall. I've got some Gardener's Delight, and they're absolutely huge for cherry tomatoes. Really, they're not ripening up yet, but they're a good size so far. So doing okay. Should be getting a few ripe ones soon. I think I did spot one solitary one going ripe somewhere. There we go. So that's the first one nearly ripe, but getting plenty of fruit on, plenty of trusses forming, and so it's all good so far. That's another. No, that's actually Shirley. I've got 3 Shirleys for some reason, and they're starting to bulk up a bit now. I've had to tie that truss up because it's snapped off. Because they get that heavy and they sort of stick out sideways from the branch, and then they just peel off and snap for some reason. So it's a bit of a design flaw in the Shirley. Same with that one. Look, I've had to put a piece of string, if you can see it. Where is it? There, tight onto the stem, because like I said, they just grow out straight outwards, and then once the tomatoes start swelling, they all drop off. But like I said, I've got plenty on now so far. They just need to get a bit bigger and ripen up. Peppers, these are these oxhorn ones. I've never grown them before, but it's absolutely covered. The plant's covered in them. I'm not sure how big they get. I don't think they get much bigger than that. But I think the big fleshy, sort of quite sweet peppers. But if you can see, look, they're all over. So if they're good, I'll certainly be growing that again, because it's been no hassle at all. It's just grown and grown without any messing. Peppers, I should really start thinning them out because they end up growing in big blocks like that and growing amongst each other, but I never end up doing it. Cucumber plant, I'm still getting cucumbers on. Giant one there. I don't know whether I'm starting to get this mosaic virus, which is a bit of a dodgy virus transmitted by aphids and greenfly. We'll see if it grows. If it keeps growing healthily, it should be all right. But it's looking a bit dodgy, that actually. Right, what else have we got? Chillies. This is the Joe's long over here. Putting on loads of chillies now. If you can see the size of them. Really early, to get chillies on at this time of year, but so far so good. Like I said, it's setting loads, so that'll be a good later on. Prairie fire chillies, as normal, just really bushy, stocky things. Just starting to send flowers out and put little tiny chillies on now. So that's it really in the greenhouse. Everything growing really well. Really hot at the moment, and they just seem to be loving it. So we'll go up to the plot, and we'll get up there. I've got some potatoes to harvest and stuff, and we'll have a look around there. Before I nip up to the plot, I must show you my bulbs, if you pardon the expression. These are my shallots from sets. They were originally going to be just for sort of exhibition growing, showing stuff, but I'm just going to eat them now because I can't be bothered with showing shallots anymore. It's just such a fiddly job. But that's the sort of size they've got to. They could have grown bigger, but I was going to pull them up for shows, like I said. But decent enough size, big enough for me, and they've not split into 2 again, so they should store perfectly. So that's my shallots from sets. The banana shallots are not doing as well as they usually do, as they did last year. So this is a bit of an added bonus. So there'll be plenty to eat there until the other ones are ready. Right, we'll nip up to the plot now, and we'll see what's going on up there. Well, hi folks, up at the plot now. If you can just see, this is on the other side of my plot. This is our field that we planted these trees in. Planted 2,000 native British trees, but we took all the sheep off, and as you can see, the grass is about 5 feet tall. I've never seen anything grow like that in my life. So it's blowing plenty of weed seeds in, but there you go. You can't have nature without all the other bits. Right, we'll have a quick look now at stuff. It's a bit windy actually, so it might get a bit of wind noise, but I'll just show you my kale. I've just been picking this non-stop, and it's just non-stop coming now. There's a few thistles in amongst it. I need to pull those out. I've been a bit lazy recently, weeding wise, but I'm trying to keep on top of it. Cabbages are absolutely huge. They're nearly outgrowing the blooming cage now, so should be quite good. The Savoys there, as you can see, they're hearting up nicely, and it's only July, and they're supposed to be a winter one, but good stuff. Savoys, I do love them. The leeks, need to weed this bit. I've done half of it and forgot to do the other bit, but they're ticking along slowly. I'll only be taking these as small ones because I'm not that bothered about getting any giant specimens. So anyway, they look better than they did when I planted them. All the bolting onions, I thought there were a lot more than there actually were, so I pulled all the ones with the seed heads out and left the ones in that were okay, and there was only about 20 with seed heads, so it's not too bad. So I've got about 60 onions left, and they are starting to bulb up now slowly, so we should have some decent sized onions in a bit, some red ones and things. This is where I planted my shallots out, the ones I showed you before, the ones that were drying, and I've just transplanted some more lettuce, a few more spring onions, and I sowed some turnips, first turnips of this year. I've never seen anything come up as quickly as turnip seed. I only planted them 4 days ago and they're all up now. So they need a little bit of thinning out, but that's just to replace the old shallots with a few turnips for this year. Second lot of peas. We're going to get some absolute gale force winds apparently this weekend, Friday and Saturday. 50-mile-an-hour ones, so I'm going to have to start tying everything up. And speaking of things that need protecting, the marrows really going to need protecting. So I'm going to have to put loads of like pallets up and bits of windbreak and things, and then hopefully stop them from blowing away, because there's one up here, this marrow plant's even bigger, and it's just a little breeze now and all the leaves are flapping about, and the whole plant's getting on for about 12 foot long now, so I don't want to lose it at this, you know, without getting a fruit set or anything. But 50-mile-an-hour winds, not good news, folks. So we'll just hope it's not as bad as they said it was, and hopefully I can get a few bits of windbreak up and see if we can get through it. Right, potatoes absolutely flying on still. If you see the height of them now, that's a full-size fork. They're about 1'18" taller than that. So mainly main crop like Sarpos, King Eddies, and a few Kestrel, and the few smaller ones there are a few more Shallots. Sorry, I've got another pot of Shallots just in the next bit, and I'll tip that out in about 5 minutes and we'll see if we've got a decent crop or not, because it is a little bit early. Right, garlic still growing. I had a bit of a scrat around and the bulbs are just starting to bulb up now, but there's only about a month's growing. So what I've been doing is giving them a bit of feed of like phostrogen, high potash, try and bulk the bulbs out a little bit, because if they do get rust and I have to pull them up, then there's going to be nothing under there, so they need to grow for another month or get a bit of a wriggle on really. Lettuces, still can't keep up with them, ridiculous this weather. That's the second lot. First lot are all blown. I always grow too many, I know, I never learn. Shallots, banana shallots. See, there's a marked difference in some. If you see those at the front there, pitiful. And then the ones further along, they're okay, but it's strange how you get like little patches with rubbish ones and then the rest seem absolutely fine. So it's a mystery, that one. Spring onions, been taking some of these now, they're all perking up. Everything's in shade, isn't it? So yeah, all good. So I should have plenty of spring onions coming. Peas not quite ready yet. I'll just have a look, see if I can find one. See if I can find a pod of some sort that's nearly ready. No, I don't think so. That one's nearly ready, but it's not. I can feel it's a little bit skinny. So they should be ready in about, if I can do this one-handed. Oh, come on. Let's have a look at the size. No, in fact, they're perfect, aren't they? But there's not many of that size, so probably about 3 or 4 days and they should all be ready to go. So, oh, bollocks, I've just dropped it. Right, so that's the peas. More Savoys, some of these that got eaten by slugs, they seem to have perked up a bit now. And the ones that haven't got eaten by slugs are bulbing up, hearting up, what am I talking about? Right, we'll have a look in the polytunnel for the last thing, and then I'll empty these potatoes out and see what sort of a harvest we get. The polytunnel's now starting to look like a jungle. I've got stuff growing along the ceiling. The French beans absolutely going crazy. Second lot of French beans, which were planted a month after, had nearly caught them up, so it's gone absolutely bonkers. The cucumbers, look at the state of that. Oh, sorry if I can get in. I don't know whether you can see. They're just on top of each other. Tons of them, just hanging. Look, it's crazy, considering I can't grow cucumbers. Try Femspot, that's the variety. They seem to be idiot proof if I can grow them. It's likewise the courgettes. These are called, oh, what are they called? I've forgotten what these varieties are called. Best variety, Defender, that's it. The courgette's called Defender, and they're always really prolific. So much so you get fed up with them after about 2 weeks, but look at them, they just keep growing up. They're a bushy habit, and they just keep growing up and up and up. If you keep the plant supported with canes, you can end up picking them about 4 feet off the ground. French beans took me first yesterday. If I'll just get to the other side. If you can see, look, they're all coming now, and once they get to that size, it only takes about a day for them to be that size, and then you've got absolutely armfuls of them, because they just flower all the way up. If you see, look, they're all over. They're even at the roof now. So absolutely inundated with beans. Right, the big onion still growing amazingly. I'll put the bottle there for a bit of scale as usual, and there she is. It's now, well, last night it was 22.5 inches in circumference, so I reckon if I get to about 25.5 inches I may get to my £10, because it is quite a nice tall shape, and it's still just ticking over about 1/8 of an inch, about 1 inch a week. So if I can get it to grow for another 3 weeks, maybe I might realise my silly dream of trying to grow a £10 onion. But it has stopped growing leaves now, and about once a week these older leaves start to die off, so you start running out of time really. But so far so good. But knowing me, I'll just be that £0.5 pound out again as usual and grow a £9-pounder, which for me is pointless because I've done it 3 times. I want to get to the magical £10 bit. Right, carrots still growing well, but like I said, anything, you know, you still don't know what's there until you pull them up. But no pests, nothing yet so far. Giant tomatoes. There's some real ugly ones now, but that's what you're looking for. If you see that one there, that's a double one. It's like a double fruit that's merged together, and they're the ones that make the really big ones, the really big, horrible, ugly ones. It's not for beauty, it's purely for size. And that's the biggest one so far. Still growing a bit. Quite a big thing, that. But what you want is these really, like I said, really ugly ones like that. They look absolutely horrible, but they're the ones that grow really big. Show onions again. They're not doing too bad. They're ticking over, growing slowly. There won't be any monsters, but like I said, but if I can get them to a couple of pound, they'll do for local shows. So, and they were the ones I bought from Mr. Fothergill's as little plants. So that's not the ones I've grown myself. So right, that's it I think for the giant stuff. Giant carrots again. Right, I'll get these potatoes out and weighed and harvested. I'll just have a wander out because it's too hot in here, and we'll see if we've got any. The potatoes in question are those there. Oh, well, here we are, folks. As always, 30 litre pot. Not sure whether I put 2 or 3 potatoes in this. And what I'm going to do this time is, like I did last time, I'm going to try and keep the tops intact. Then if there are any little immature ones, I can replant the tops. And like I did last time for a bit of a trial with ridiculous results, got a load more potatoes later on. So I will try and tip it out and retain the tops. If not, then we'll see. So I'll just rip it apart and see if we've got any. And first impressions are not too impressive, but I don't know actually. Let's have a look. These were planted outside. In fact, they are perfect. God, I don't believe this. These were planted out in April, and I'm not kidding you, the tops didn't even break the surface until about the middle of May. So really, they've only been growing for just over 2 months, sort of out of the soil, if you will, because we had such a cold start this spring. In fact, I don't think I've any need to replant these tops, because I think I've probably got everything in out of this. Look at that. Jesus, that is just ridiculous for such a short time. God, I don't know whether you can see it. God, this is cracking. Charlotte. Yeah, these are perfect now, so I'm not going to bother replanting the tops. I am so surprised with these. This is a good old first pot from outside is this. There's not a lot on there, so I don't think there's much to come. And there appears to be 3 sort of plants, so that would assume that's 3 seed potatoes are planted in a 30 litre pot. And they keep coming. Right, let's see what we've got. Yeah, Charlotte. I do love Charlotte as an early potato. Not that it's particularly early in July, but it's about all you can hope for, isn't it, with a cold start like this. This is where I need Brendan's gift of the gab. What can I talk about, Brendan? Right, I think that's it anyway. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I was expecting, honestly, little tiny ones like so. So to get a crop like that, quite pleased out of a 30 litre bag. So we'll give them a bit of a weigh and we'll see what we've got. Thinking there might be knocking on £5, which would be a good, it's always a good result for new potatoes. You can expect up to £10 or more for main crops, but for first early new ones, £5 a good enough target. Right, we'll turn the scales on, set it to pounds and off we go. What do we have? 4.87 pounds, so just short of £5. So yeah, pleased with that. That's a decent enough reward for such a short time. So anyway, that's it folks, just a bit of a roundup and the first spud harvest from outside in the pots, and I'm quite pleased with that actually, considering the weather's been so cool. So I will say, I hope this wind doesn't ruin everyone's stuff this week. I hope it's a bit more benign than they say it's going to be, and I'll just say see you later.